You're playing Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions on the PSP, and you think you have the best squad of generics ever made. When your friend comes up to you and says, "Prove it," and challenges you to a melee battle, what characters are you bringing to this fight? Are they absolute garbage, or are they really awesome? In this video, we're going to rank all 22 jobs, from worst to best, for PvP. Hi, my name is Mikey from Final Fantasy Tactics Live Tournament, and we're here today to discuss the worst jobs for PvP all the way to the best jobs in PvP. So how are we ranking them? Well, our first determination is how much value does this job produce? Second, we're going to look at their abilities in a nutshell. And thirdly, we're going to consider, does the character or job require a lot of equipment to make them good, or does equipment merely enhance an already great character? I would also like to point out that we're just going to cover generic jobs. We're not going to cover special characters like Agrius, Beowulf, Thunder God Cid. They are all in a class of their own and each have unique job skills that are in a class above all the other jobs. So for now, we're going to stick to generics and save the special characters for another video. What is value, you ask? I would say value is defined as outputting a lot of damage, not taking a lot of damage, not needing to be buffed or sustained in any way, and can do something every single turn. When we look at jobs and their abilities, and we think of them in a vacuum, how good are the abilities on their own? Can a job merely get by just their own ability set, not needing a combination to bolster them? If the answer is no, then they're going to rank lower on our list. And the same thinking goes with equipment. Does the character need special equipment to actually make them viable or on par with better classes? If the answer is yes, then it's also going to rank lower on our list. So if you can agree with these guidelines, I think you might learn a little bit about which jobs are the worst and which jobs are the best for PvP. For this video, we've separated all 22 jobs into 4 different tiers. Low, which provide no value or very, very little. Mid-tier, which provides more value. And while they don't make a strong primary choice, their abilities could possibly be a good secondary choice. We have the high tier, which are strong choices for primary jobs and have a very decent, valuable ability set. And then there's the super tier. The super tier are in a class of their own. They're the kind of tier where if you're not taking a lot of these, you may not have a competitive edge, so to speak. So let's get started, shall we? Leading up the low tier at the bottom, number 22, the Arithmetician. I can't say enough bad things about the Arithmetician, not just because he has the lowest stats in the game, including speed, that's a big one, but because they're just so boring to watch. Yes, you can pick and choose exactly which tiles or exactly which characters you want to hit, but who wants to watch you do that? Sitting there scrolling through all the menus and all the skills you've learned is just not fun. And I recommend turning off arithmetics from the menu and forget about bringing it all together. It doesn't make an enjoyable experience. It's absolutely overpowered. Moving on. At number 21, the lowly Squire. The Squire is filled with such promise at the beginning of the game because, well, everyone is a Squire. And it doesn't get much better from there. They have pretty lousy stats, no equipment that's unique to them that could make them shine, and every one of their abilities is just a low-powered, crappy version of every ability that will come to replace it. So, taking Squires offers you no benefit, and their ability set doesn't give you a lot of value in the end. Next up, number 20, the Bard. I like the Bard, and if we were just basing this on our rankings of our favorite classes, the Bard would rank high. Unfortunately, his measly heals that come every so often don't really do anything impactful. His nameless song sometimes works and can benefit you with quick haste or regen, but otherwise a very unreliable healer support class that doesn't have very good stats or skills to speak of besides move +3. At number 19, the Dancer. Similar to the Bard, the Dancer has a measly damage output. And like the Bard, they can also cast debuffs on your enemy that could be beneficial if they hit, such as a well-placed frog, which will cripple a really strong enemy if they don't have immunity to it. So they don't find themselves adding a lot of impactful actions turn after turn, and besides a high physical attack rating that could be better served on other classes, the Dancer doesn't really provide a lot of value and ranks in our low tier. Next up at number 18, the Dragoon. Again, if this were a list of my favorite characters, Dragoon would be near the top. So cool looking, and their jump ability seems good if it hits. A lot of the time, your character that you're trying to target is going to move out of the way before your jump lands. Can be mitigated with speed, but just in a vacuum on its own, the Dragoon just doesn't really shine, besides being a fairly mobile tank with a larger range thanks to his pole arms. But there are better options for characters that are beefy and tanky, and there are better options for characters that you want to be more offensive with. Rounding out our low tier at number 17, the Orator. Well, the Orator isn't that great in PvE, and you may be wondering why they're at the top of the low tier instead of near the bottom. And I got one answer for you. Guns. That means that despite being able to offer a little bit of bravery or faith, the Orator can do something every turn simply by being able to equip a gun. Besides that, Orators don't offer too much value. We're now moving on to the mid-tier, where we're starting to see characters offer a little bit of value. At number 16, the Mime. The Mime is kind of a... well, not kind of, is very much a tricky character to use. Positioning is everything with a Mime, if you want to double up on every one of your other characters' actions. A re-raise on a priest means a re-raise on your own Mime. Punching out at nothing means your Mime may actually hit an enemy that would normally be out of reach. So if you can master good positioning and thinking ahead with one extra character in mind, the Mime may actually serve you very well in a PvP setting. At number 15, the Time Mage. The Time Mage, like the Orator, delivers value through one critical mean, and that's haste. Haste is probably the most important buff that you want to keep up, whether through equipment or through a Time Mage. In addition, Time Mages come with Mana Shield, which is an almost critical defensive ability for any melee class that doesn't use MP, and they also come with Teleport, which can extend the range of your movement far beyond what your equipment can provide. So besides haste and a pretty good ability set, Time Mages don't deliver a lot of value in terms of damage. However, they can get out of some tricky situations and keep themselves alive. Number 14, the Regal Knight. The Knight is your standard equip anything you want, run at the enemy, and whap them. They pack quite the punch, have a great HP reserve thanks to being able to equip heavy armor and shields, and you can pretty much throw everything at them. They do have a low movement rate and will need a lot of buffs to really maximize their ability to mitigate a lot of damage. So knights are very versatile and very rugged, brutal fighter jobs. Next up, number 13, the White Mage. The White Mage is a little goofy and kind of cumbersome, and they don't have a great stat line, but they can bring people back from the dead, and that can be a huge swing towards the end of the battle. In addition, there is a spell that should make everybody tremble in their shoes, and that's Holy. Holy is the White Mage's nuke option, and until they run out of MP or have just enough to be able to raise somebody at the last minute, Holy is the go-to option and should be taken very seriously. Next up, number 12, the Mystic. While the Mystic doesn't have an ability set that dishes out a lot of damage, they do have a great debuff set. You won't find anything that will take away somebody's faith all the way down to 0, nor will you find as much of a bravery reduction in what the Mystic can deliver. In addition, Mystics can equip Pulse, whose attack power is determined by your magic attack. So when you run out of MP as a Mystic, which you may not do thanks to Mana Font, you at least have the option to strike someone from 2 spaces with their pole and actually do a decent amount of damage. Because of their value that they can deliver every turn, Mystic ranks fairly high in the mid-tier. Popping us off in the mid-tier, at number 11 is the Samurai. I like the Samurai a lot. In fact, it's one of my favorite classes in the game. They have a great stat line, and they can equip heavy armor. Their defensive ability, Shira Hidori, pretty much nullifies physical attacks. They can also double hand their katanas for increased physical attack. However, where they really shine is their Aido ability set. It is a smart targeting, so only hits allies when it's healing and only hits enemies when its attack is amazing. However, its strength is determined by your magic attack power. So on a class that you want to be a run-up and whap-em bruiser kind of class, actually benefits from a high magic attack. So it's the correct character, but a mismatched ability set. So I would prefer Aido on other classes, but that's a discussion for another time. In a vacuum, a Samurai is a pretty good choice, but there are slightly stronger ones out there. Alright, we've gotten into the solid choices now. Starting us off in the high tier, number 10, the Chemist. I can't overstate how great it is to be able to immediately bring somebody back from the dead from 4 spaces away at any height, or to throw out an elixir and completely heal somebody right at the critical moment. Chemists are the only ones that can do that. With Auto Potion as a reactive ability, you can heal yourself 150 HP every time you're attacked. While the Chemist doesn't have the best stat line, and they don't have access to the best defensive equipment, they have access to guns. So yes, as if their fast, flexible healing wasn't enough, you can shoot people when everyone else is at full health. Chemists are very solid choices. That's why they rank in our high tier. Number 9, the Thief. It may surprise you or a lot of people why I rank the Thief so high, but there is one ability that will just ruin your day, and that's Steel Heart. There is nothing more frustrating than watching your most powerful character start to rip on all of your squishy characters or any of your other characters. It's a snowball that can really start to turn into an avalanche and screw up your strategy. Besides their abnormally high speed and class evasion, thieves can be kind of tricky to pin down and kill. However, they are fairly squishy, so a lot of care must be taken to keep them alive. But if you can run around stealing hearts unchallenged, you can ruin a lot of people's days. Next up at number 8, the Archer. The Archer is a very simple, straightforward damage dealing class. And like the Mime, the Archer depends solely on their positioning. So if you can somehow get an Archer to a corner at the very top of a hill, you can rain death and destruction down on the rest of the battlefield for the entire battle. It is not too far-fetched to see archers at the top of the damage charts simply because they are consistent in their damage and can be pretty tricky to pin down and deal with. Up next at number 7, the Geomancer. The Geomancer is the jack of all trades kind of job. They benefit from both high physical attack and high magic attack. Their geomancy has a very wide range and is an AoE attack, so you can hit 5 characters at once if they're grouped up. In addition, each geomancy spell has a 25% chance to inflict a status ailment depending on the ground you're standing on. This makes geomancers incredibly valuable in that if geomancy isn't an option and you have high physical attack, you can always go up and whap them. If you are at range, geomancy comes in and actually can make a difference with a well-placed debuff or status ailment. At number 6, the Summoner. The Summoner is a brutal spellcaster. They can hit a wide range, whether it is for area denial or you want to plant a bomb on a character to send back into the rest of their party line. It has smart targeting, so heals only hit your allies and damage attacks only hit enemies. And also be aware that you pay for this massive destructive power in heavy MP use and slower than molasses casting speed. You will want to keep your Summoner well protected, hasted, and use some of these abilities like swiftness that they come equipped with so that you can get your massive cast out and rain down as much damage as possible. At number 5, the mighty Black Mage. The Black Mage is one of the more squishy characters in the game. They make up for this by being able to nuke a single target better than anyone. They have the highest magic attack rating in the game and a humongous MP pool to help them cast Flare or any other big bad spell you want, over and over throughout the entire battle. Once they run out of MP, however, it's very difficult to get value out of a Black Mage. But until that happens, you can count on a Black Mage for raining destruction down on everyone. We've now entered the super tier. Let's get into it, shall we? At number 4, the Monk. Now, the Monk isn't just a jack of all trades, master of none. He's pretty much the master of all trades. This guy packs a wallop when he attacks with his bare fists. He can heal not just HP, but MP as well in a group, and he can even bring characters back to life. Even more important, Monk's abilities like Aura Blast and Shockwave can actually get through Shira Hidori's dodge chain. If that's not enough, Monks come with the highest HP in the game. Couple that with an extremely high physical attack, and you just have a walking, brawling, bruising fighter guy who I just could not live without one in my group. Coming in at number 3 of our list, the nasty, assassinating ninja. The ninja is the pinnacle of the melee fighter job path. Once you get a ninja, it's kind of difficult to find the benefits of other melee classes. Not only do they strike twice with their weapon, but they can also throw everything in your inventory. And the damage is increased with the speed of the ninja, and the range is increased with the movement range of the ninja. So whether you are far away or you're close up, the ninja can reach you and can do a boatload of damage. Our silver medal number 2 goes to the Onion Knight. I want to preface this by saying we are assuming you've mastered all the classes. And if that's the case, the Onion Knight is the second best choice for PvP. Your Onion Knight can equip anything because that's what they do. Equip them with a gun, equip them with a bow, equip them with a harp. It doesn't matter. You can equip a male Onion Knight with perfumes. It is incredibly easy to make an equipment-based, nasty, brutal fighter damage dealer guy. They're very difficult to kill based solely on their equipment because they have no abilities besides attacking. But really, when you've thrown everything that you've gotten in the story thus far on one of these guys, they will perform and they will deliver value. Okay, the king has arrived. Number 1 in our list. Yes, the only one left, the Dark Knight. What can I say about the Dark Knight? Well, he's the best. His abilities do so much damage, can heal him back, which is important because some of his abilities actually cost life to use. So just bear that in mind. Don't kill yourself when you use them. Their Fell Blades increase in power when you decrease their faith. So just throwing on an atheist item or from a mystic and you're ready to go. I can't recommend them enough if you want to absolutely dominate the battle. And if you take 5, then you are sending a message to your opponent that you are not messing around. Well, that about does it. That's all 22 characters ranked from worst to best for PvP. I hope you enjoyed this video. You found it somewhat informative. I'm sure it's going to spark some discussion between either you and me, or perhaps some of your friends that you are playing PvP against. I encourage you to like the video and subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when more videos like this come up and we can further discussion, because I would love to see Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions PvP take off in a more esports driven route. So the way we can do that is by spreading the word together and playing more. I hope this gets you playing more with your friends. And until next time, I'm Mikey from Final Fantasy Tactics Live Tournament. Thank you for watching and be well.